Hi, my name is Dan Sarzynski. I'm a partner at the firm, and I am the chair of the Banking and Creditors Rights Practice Group and the chair of the Construction Law Practice Group. I graduated from UB Law School in 1999, so I've been practicing for a little over 20 years. I started my career at a firm in Rochester. I worked there for 2 years, and after 2 years, I was looking to make a return to Buffalo. And fortunately, Rupp Baase had just started around that time, and was looking for an attorney. And so I applied and was fortunate to get the job. And I'm proud to say I've been here for 20 years now, and been a part of the growth. It's been exciting to be part of the growth during that time. I Along the way, I have been involved in a number of organizations that relate to the industries in which I practice, and taken on a leadership role within those organizations. On the construction side of my work, I've been involved with CFMA, which is the Construction Financial Management Association, Construction Exchange of Buffalo and Western New York, the Subcontractors Association of Western New York, and then on the banking side, I'm involved with TMA, RMA. So anyhow, I'd like to be involved in these organizations that relate to my practice area, so I can get to know people in those areas, but also understand the issues that are important in those industries. Uh, I don't remember the exact moment I chose to become a lawyer, but my father's a lawyer, so I grew up in a household with a parent who was a lawyer, and I saw how much pride and satisfaction my dad took in the practice of law, and so being around a father who was a lawyer, probably had a feeling I'd be a lawyer someday. And then in college, I majored in history and French, two areas that require a lot of reading and writing, and I think at that point I realized that the legal profession, was probably the right one for me. The areas that I practice in, I don't know that I necessarily chose them. I think they chose me. Uh, the first job I had, I was doing the banking work and I was doing the construction work. Found that I really liked those areas of the law, mostly because it was involved me working with people and with companies, and helping people, companies solve their problems. So found that it was something I enjoyed doing, and I've continued doing that type of work ever since. Most memorable case, I have to say it was a case that I had pretty early on in my career, maybe 5 or so years in. I was still an associate, and but it was a case that involved a bridge collapse near Utica. It was a construction project, and while the bridge was being built, it collapsed, causing many injuries, and so we represented one of the contractors on that case, and there were a number of parties, number of plaintiffs, and it was the kind of case that I was spending a good amount of time on, traveling to and from Utica and Albany for depositions, court appearances. It was a lot at the time. It was a lot for a young associate, but what I enjoyed about that case was there were many legal issues, court appearances. It had just about everything you'd want in a case, and we had a good outcome for the client in that case. But it was also the kind of case, because of the amount of issues and level of complexity, it made me realize that I could handle a case of that size and complexity independently, and kind of made me realize if I could handle a case of that size, I could handle just about any kind of case. So it's definitely a memorable one. Yeah. Outside of work, I spend a lot of time with my family. Married, I have 2 kids, 2 boys who play a lot of sports. They're 16, they're 14 years old. And so from a young age, I was coaching them in basketball and baseball. Now that they're older, they play for their high school team or teams. And so even though I'm not coaching as much as I used to, I'm spending a lot of time at games, watching them play. We also like to travel as a family. And when we take vacations, those family vacations often involve going to some sporting event. We try to plan a location where we can see a baseball game or a basketball game. So family and sports outside of work. The legal tip, I would say, would be get it in writing. Um, and so that's important, especially in my area of work, but I think in many areas of the law. But for the banking work, construction work, if you have an agreement, put it in writing. It solves a lot of problems down the road. Um, you know, I guess you'd like to think a handshake, someone's word would be good enough. But when a case comes to me and there's a dispute over what the agreement was, who said what, if it's in writing, it's going to be a lot easier to win the case. And so get it in writing.